As a child, she was teased for her looks, yet today, she is one of the Hollywood's brightest movie stars. Her brother gave her a push into the film industry, but no one would dare say that her success was undeserved. Julia Roberts is an American actress and producer. She was the first woman in Hollywood to secure multi-million-dollar salaries, and today, she boasts an immense fortune. Why is feminism in her blood? How did she become the real-life runaway bride? Which of her failures does she refuse to discuss? And what does she regret? We'll tell you all about this in our new video.
And David? Georgia? Do you agree?
Yes, we have our blessing. Yeah.
Yes, for now.
And always.
And always.
Any questions so far?
Your name?
Julia Roberts, how Pretty Woman lives and where she spends her millions. Julia Fiona Roberts was born on October 28, 1967, in a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. Her parents, Betty Lou and Walter, were former actors and playwrights who founded the Atlanta Actors and Writers Workshop. While expecting Julia, they also ran a children's acting school in Georgia. Coincidentally, the children of Coretta and Martin Luther King Jr. attended this school. As a token of gratitude for their work in running the only racially integrated acting troupe in the region, Coretta covered the hospital bill when Julia was born. At that time, the Roberts family was facing financial difficulties, raising not just Julia, but also her older siblings, Eric and Lisa. Both of them also pursued careers in acting. Interestingly, Julia is a distant relative of actor Edward Norton and famed feminist activist Gloria Steinem. She also later discovered that some of her ancestors were slave owners, an unsurprising fact for someone from the American South. In 1971, Betty Lou filed for divorce, which was finalized in 1972. That same year, she remarried Michael Moats, and from that moment on, family life turned into a nightmare. Moats was often abusive and unemployed. The family welcomed another daughter, Nancy, but out of respect for her and their mother, Julia never publicly shared the details of those difficult years. Julia's biological father passed away from cancer when she was just 10 years old, a devastating loss for her. As for her stepfather, he disappeared from their lives in 1983 when Betty Lou finally divorced him, realizing she had made a mistake. As a child, Julia dreamed of becoming a veterinarian and also played the clarinet in her school orchestra. It's also known that at age 13, she got a job as a waitress at a pizzeria, working shifts after school. After graduating from Campbell High School, Roberts enrolled at Georgia State University, but later dropped out. She reconsidered her future career path and decided to move to New York, where she began attending acting classes. In addition, she signed a contract with the Click modeling agency. However, she never considered herself beautiful, especially since her classmates teased her for being tall, skinny, and having a big mouth. She soon quit acting classes, finding them pointless, and started going to auditions instead. Years later, Julia admitted that she envied her colleagues who had formal acting training. Her breakthrough came thanks to a trip to Hollywood to visit her brother Eric. At first, he helped her out and even invited her to appear with him in the action film Blood Red. However, by the time the movie was finally released, a lot had already happened in Julia's life. She had a major falling out with her brother, landed roles in the TV series Miami Vice and the musical drama Satisfaction. On the set of Satisfaction, Julia met 35-year-old Liam Neeson, and despite their 16-year age gap, they had a passionate romance. Rumor had it that they even moved in together, but she wasn't ready for a serious commitment. Then, in 1988, the romantic dramedy Mystic Pizza hit the screens. Julia was almost cast as one of the waitresses after her first audition, but producers asked her to dye her hair darker. At the next round of auditions, she didn't even try too hard. While her competitors were diligently memorizing their lines, Roberts was listening to music on her headphones and singing along loudly. Her paycheck for the film was $50,000.
Heather, you'd do just fine if you just use your head a little more.
Yeah, well, don't worry about me. I'm not gonna be slinging pizza for the rest of my life.
The best pizza!
After the premiere, the young actress first experienced what it felt like to be famous, but in an unexpected place. Julia was at the movies with her mom, and when she went to the restroom, she heard someone say, "Hey girl, in the first stall, were you in Mystic Pizza?" Caught off guard, Roberts hesitantly said yes. The next moment, an eager fan slid a napkin under the stall door, asking for an autograph. Amused by such boldness, Julia replied, "Could you wait a moment, please?" In 1989, Julia starred in the melodrama Steel Magnolias.
What does Jackson say about all this? He is so excited. He says he doesn't care whether it's a boy or a girl, but I know he really wants a son so bad he could taste it. He's really cute about the whole thing. It's all he can.
The filming process was far from pleasant, as director Herbert Ross was extremely demanding of all the actors. However, he was particularly harsh on Julia. Not only did he criticize her performance, but he also made negative comments about her appearance, causing Roberts to cry in the evenings. Her consolation during this tough period was a romance with her on-screen fiancé, Dylan McDermott. He even proposed to her, but their engagement didn't last long. Despite the difficult experience, Steel Magnolias became a major career breakthrough for Julia. She not only earned $90,000 for the role, but also won a Golden Globe and received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. By that time, she was already set to star in a film originally titled $3,000. The project was initially conceived as a drama with no hint of a fairy tale romance, but after Disney got involved, the story changed drastically. Eventually, the film was renamed Pretty Woman. To prepare for the role, Julia spent a lot of time at a free clinic on Hollywood Boulevard to better understand her character. The filming process was chaotic, with the director constantly making changes to the script, but the end result was worth it. Pretty Woman became a box office sensation, earning Roberts another Golden Globe, another Oscar nomination, and worldwide fame. Her salary for the film was $300,000.
You ever driven a Lotus?
No.
You're gonna start right now.
You're joking.
No, it's the only way I can get you off my coat.
That same year, 1990, she starred in the sci-fi horror film Flatliners, for which she was paid $500,000. Once again, she found romance on set, this time with her co-star Kiefer Sutherland. A year after they met, the couple was planning to get married. The media called it the wedding of the year, but the ceremony never took place. Just days before the big event, the bride and groom announced that it was postponed, only to cancel it altogether shortly after. The tabloids painted Julia as a heartless villain who left her fiancé at the altar for another man, Jason Patric, but in reality, things weren't as dramatic. Kiefer held no grudges and was even grateful to his ex-fiancée for making a wise decision. Meanwhile, Julia's brief fling with Patrick quickly fizzled out. In 1991, Julia starred in 3 films. First came the thriller Sleeping with the Enemy, which made her the youngest actress to receive a 7-figure paycheck, $1 million. Her next project, the romantic drama Dying Young, tripled that amount, though she had to wear hair extensions since she had a short haircut at the time. By the end of the year, Roberts took on the role of Tinkerbell in the family fantasy Hook, earning a staggering $7 million. After starring in the thriller The Player, Julia appeared in the legal drama The Pelican Brief. The role of law student Darby Shaw was written specifically for her, and she accepted the part without even reading the script. She had loved the book the film was based on and fully immersed herself in the role by attending a few law seminars at Tulane University. Her salary for the film was $8 million.
Everyone wants to know when you are starting classes again.
That includes me.
You know what they say, drinking makes depression worse.
What do they recommend for anguish?
At the time, Julia was dating country singer and actor Lyle Lovett. Even before meeting him, she had been a fan of his music. Just 3 weeks after they met, they decided to get married. Their 1993 marriage lasted 2 years, but the final year was plagued by media scandals. The press relentlessly tried to catch Roberts cheating and tracked how much time the couple spent together. Due to their demanding work schedules, they rarely saw each other, so they amicably parted ways. In the following years, Julia slowed down her workload. While she still appeared on screen regularly, she took on fewer high-profile projects. For example, the romantic comedy I Love Trouble turned out to be a nightmare for her and the entire production team. She and co-star Nick Nolte didn't get along at all, and by the end of filming, they refused to shoot scenes together. This forced last-minute script changes and gave the editors a serious challenge. One exception was the TV series Friends, where Julia made a guest appearance in a single episode of Season 2 alongside her sister, Lisa. On set, she briefly dated Matthew Perry, though their relationship didn't last long. Meanwhile, her salaries continued to skyrocket. She earned $8.5 million for the thriller Mary Riley, $11 million for the crime drama Conspiracy Theory, and $12 million for the rom-com My Best Friend's Wedding, which also earned her another Golden Globe nomination.
When you and I were, when we were...
Together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, did I, when...
Yes.
Meanwhile, Julia began dating actor Benjamin Bratt. It was love at first sight, and their relationship unfolded under public scrutiny. The couple frequently appeared together in public, happily posing for paparazzi and openly sharing their happiness. However, over time, the media attention became overwhelming, disagreements piled up, and after several years, Julia and Benjamin went their separate ways. Roberts then starred in the dramedy Stepmom and was initially set to play the female lead in the hit tragic comedy Shakespeare in Love, but things didn't work out. However, starting in 1999, she entered a streak of major successes. For the romantic comedy Notting Hill, Julia earned $15 million, and interestingly, this exact amount is mentioned in the film. In the scene where her character, Anna Scott, celebrates a birthday, she says that's how much she made on her last movie.
How's the pay in movies? I mean, last film you did, what did you get paid?
$15 million.
Another fun fact, the scene in which Anna scolds a group of men in a restaurant was completely improvised. Additionally, her outfit, a soft blue t-shirt, a knitted cardigan, a velvet skirt, and black and white flip-flops, was put together from her own wardrobe because she didn't like the stylist's choices. It seems she wasn't too fond of Hugh Grant either, and the feeling was mutual. The actor later spoke rather sarcastically about their on-screen chemistry, saying, "I heard a faint echo when I kissed her." Film critics also felt that their pairing lacked spark, but audiences loved the movie, and the Golden Globe jury recognized Julia's performance, nominating her for Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical.
They will discover I can't act, and I will become some sad middle-aged woman who looks a bit like someone who was famous for a while.
She then made a guest appearance on Law and Order, earning a modest $4,000 and an Emmy nomination. After that, she starred in another romantic comedy, Runaway Bride. She agreed to the role under two conditions: there would be no sequels, and her salary would be $17 million.
Look, I'm not gonna show you guys anything. I am a soon-to-be married woman, so just give me the photograph.
I would love to give you this, believe me, I would. Just give us a quick gander at that rose.
Interestingly, the famous platypus face her character makes in the movie was included at the director's insistence. He had seen Roberts amusing his grandchildren with it and wanted it in the film. In 2000, Julia played the bold and sharp-witted legal advocate Erin Brockovich in the eponymous film. The real Erin was initially unhappy with the casting choice, believing that Roberts didn't match her personality and spoke too eloquently. She suggested Goldie Hawn or Roseanne Barr for the lead role, but the producers and director stood firm, and they were right. For the film, Julia learned to write with her right hand, even though she is naturally left-handed, and successfully embodied the persona of a tenacious woman. Critics recognized her efforts, awarding her the Screen Actors Guild Award, a BAFTA, a Golden Globe, and an Academy Award.
Oh, settle down. I've got $74 in the bank. I can't afford to settle down.
I'm sorry.
Do they teach lawyers to apologize? Because you suck at it.
Interestingly, during her Oscars acceptance speech, she did not mention the real Erin Brockovich for some reason. This film was also significant because Julia Roberts became the first actress in history to command a $20 million paycheck for a movie. Before her, only Jim Carrey had reached that milestone for The Cable Guy. For her next role in the 2001 adventure film, The Mexican, she earned significantly less, $5 million. However, the set of this film brought something much more valuable. She met her future husband, cinematographer Daniel Moder. At the time, he was married, but he soon got divorced. In the heist film Ocean's 11, Julia took home a $10 million paycheck.
You remember the day that I went for cigarettes and didn't come back? You must have noticed.
I don't smoke, don't sit.
Now, they tell me that I paid my debt to society.
Funny, I never got a check.
Her co-stars George Clooney and Brad Pitt jokingly sent her a $20 bill with a note that read, "We heard you make 20 per movie," conveniently leaving out the 6 additional zeros in her actual salary. Julia quipped back, "Don't tell my agent, but I'd work with Soderbergh for $20. That same year, she starred in the comedy America's Sweethearts, earning $15 million. Interestingly, she turned down the lead role in favor of a supporting one. In 2002, Roberts appeared in several films, but a standout was George Clooney's directorial debut, the spy thriller Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. As longtime friends, Julia agreed to a reduced paycheck of just $250,000 for the role. On July 4, 2002, Roberts married Daniel Moder at their ranch in New Mexico. Interestingly, the only other celebrity in attendance, besides the bride, of course, was Bruce Willis. For the occasion, Julia chose a simple cotton dress designed by a friend. In 2003, Roberts broke her own salary record, earning $25 million for her role in the drama Mona Lisa Smile.
What's all this?
Different things, different days. People who inspire me, artists I admire, editorials I don't. So, you came to see me.
To prepare for the film, she attended art history classes at New York University. In 2004, she starred in the romantic drama Closer, for which she earned $20 million, and in the only sequel of her career, Ocean's 12. During filming, Roberts was actually pregnant with twins, and George Clooney was very protective of her. The babies were born on November 28th of that year, 4 weeks premature, but thankfully without complications. They named their daughter Hazel Patricia and their son Phineas Walter. Meanwhile, Julia's net worth was estimated at $212 million, and in 2005, Forbes increased that figure to $250 million. At this time, she took a brief hiatus from film, only lending her voice to Charlotte's Web and The Ant Bully, both released in 2006. That same year, she made her Broadway debut in 3 Days of Rain alongside Paul Rudd and Bradley Cooper. However, Julia avoids discussing this experience in interviews because the play received scathing reviews from critics. In 2007, Roberts returned to the big screen with the biographical dramedy Charlie Wilson's War, which earned her a Golden Globe nomination. That year, Forbes estimated her annual income at $9 million. She then worked alongside her husband, Daniel Motter, on the drama Fireflies in the Garden. Daniel worked as the cinematographer, while Julia played the pregnant mother of the main character. Coincidentally, she was actually expecting at the time and gave birth to their son Henry Daniel on June 18th. In 2009, Roberts was considered for the lead role in the rom-com The Proposal, but she demanded too high a salary, so the role went to Sandra Bullock instead. However, the producers of the thriller Duplicity were willing to meet her price, paying her $15 million. While The Proposal was ultimately more commercially successful, Duplicity earned Roberts a Golden Globe nomination. Julia then began working on the film adaptation of Elizabeth Gilbert's best-selling memoir, Eat, Pray, Love. She suggested that her longtime friend Gary Marshall direct the film, but he declined as he didn't want to travel abroad and was already working on the romance Valentine's Day. Instead, he invited Roberts to appear in his movie, to which she agreed, earning $3 million. Ryan Murphy directed Eat, Pray, Love, and the role of journalist Liz became one of the most memorable in Julia's career.
You don't speak the language just with your mouth. You speak it with your hands. Gesti.
Like this?
Con i gesti.
I gesti.
Coi gesti.
Non lo sai.
Okay,
Non hai capito.
he's a yelling.
Braccia, gesti.
While filming in Italy, she gained nearly 11 pounds, since she couldn't resist indulging in pasta. Her favorite scene was the one where her character orders lunch for her friends. It was incredibly satisfying to sit at the table and watch everyone work so hard to make this film great, Roberts admitted in an interview. During the shoot in Bali, she was also particularly impressed by the food, specifically the fresh mangoes she enjoyed every evening. Interestingly, Julia only agreed to film in Bali on the condition that she could bring her family along. The producers naturally agreed, and she received a $10 million paycheck. Around that time, Roberts developed an interest in Hinduism, and she and her family began visiting Hindu temples occasionally. During the same period, the actress was honored with the San Sebastian International Film Festival Award for Outstanding Personal Achievements. In 2011, Roberts starred alongside Tom Hanks in the rom-com Larry Crown, and the following year, she played the evil queen in Mirror, Mirror. Initially, she was completely against doing the film, but after meeting with the director, she changed her mind.
Busybodies.
Caught rumoring, gossiping, whispering, or even thinking shall be put to death.
Julia often brought her children to set, and they would even hide under her skirt for fun. However, the enormous ball gowns she wore were incredibly uncomfortable and heavy, so much so that she once pulled a muscle simply by turning too quickly. At one point, she decided to keep her kids away from the set, fearing they might overhear the nasty things she had to say as the villain. She even refused to let them watch the finished movie, despite their excitement. While promoting Mirror, Mirror, Roberts couldn't contain her excitement and revealed in an interview that her next film would feature Meryl Streep, whom she called her favorite actress. That project turned out to be the dark dramedy August Osage County.
Daddy never said anything like that to you. A load of absolute horseshit.
Horseshit? Horseshit? Oh, horseshit! Let's all say horseshit. Say horseshit, Bill.
For her supporting role, Roberts earned nominations for an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and several other prestigious awards. However, during this time, Julia found herself in the media spotlight for an extremely painful reason. Her younger half-sister Nancy publicly accused her of bullying her over her looks. Nancy frequently gave interviews blaming Julia for all her misfortunes. This tragic conflict ended when Nancy took her own life, leaving behind a lengthy letter filled with accusations against her famous sister. On top of that, Roberts' relationship with her brother Eric had also been strained for years. However, she absolutely adores his daughter, actress Emma Roberts. In 2014, Roberts took on a role in the TV film The Normal Heart, directed by her friend Ryan Murphy. The performance earned her an Emmy nomination. A year later, she starred in the thriller Secret in Their Eyes.
Not at all. Have a good day.
Attaboy, Bumpy. Give him hell.
You really are a moron, Bumpy. You know that?
Seifert, you keep throwing that term around, but I'm not sure you know what it actually means. It's a medical term. Did you know that?
Interestingly, Julia personally chose her co-star, Nicole Kidman, by sending her an email with the script and a simple question: "Will you do this with me?" In 2016, Roberts reunited with George Clooney for the thriller Money Monster, but their busy schedules kept them from spending much time together on set. At the same time, she appeared in the romantic comedy Mother's Day, earning $3 million for just 4 days of work. In 2017, after voicing a character in the animated film Smurfs: The Lost Village, Roberts starred in the heartfelt family drama Wonder, for which she was paid $6 million. That year, her total earnings reached $12 million. In 2018, Roberts took on her first major TV role in the psychological thriller series Homecoming. She appeared in 10 episodes, earning $600,000 per episode and receiving a Golden Globe nomination for her performance. That same year, she starred in the drama Ben is Back, accepting the role immediately, without requesting any script changes. However, she did make one casting request. Having been impressed by Lucas Hedges' performance in Manchester by the Sea, she insisted he be cast as Ben.
Don't blame him. It's my fault. When he called and asked what I wanted for Christmas, I shouldn't have sent him home.
That's what you said?
I wanted him to know I missed him. I never dreamed he would just show up.
Ironically, Lucas is the son of the film's director, but it was Julia, not his father, who pushed for him to get the role. After that, Roberts took a brief hiatus from the screen, returning in 2022. She played the wife of U.S. Attorney General John Mitchell in the miniseries Gaslit, earning another Golden Globe nomination. She also reunited with George Clooney for the rom-com Ticket to Paradise. This time, they had an absolute blast working together. For instance, in the beer pong scene, they improvised and nailed it in a single take. The film's writer and director had only Julia and George in mind for the lead roles. In fact, they even named Roberts' character Georgia as a playful nod to her co-star. Originally, Clooney's character was meant to be named Julius, but the joke seemed a bit too on the nose, so they changed his name to David.
And now he's saying you remind him of a very attractive horse.
Really?
In this film, Roberts had kissing scenes with 2 actors, and both times were rather awkward. On the day of her scene with George Clooney, his wife and kids visited the set. They had to be taken away to avoid any uncomfortable questions, like why their dad was kissing Aunt Julia. Meanwhile, Lucas Bravo, who played the protagonist's younger love interest, was so nervous about kissing the Hollywood icon that he couldn't sleep the night before. In 2023, Roberts starred in the Netflix-produced sci-fi thriller Leave the World Behind, and she is now set to appear in the upcoming thriller Littleby. There have also been long-standing rumors about the adaptation of the Friday Night Knitting Club, based on the novel by Kate Jacobs, but it remains unclear whether the project will ever be released. These days, Roberts carefully selects her roles and spends most of her time with her family. However, she has no plans to retire and once expressed a desire to work with Johnny Depp. They've known each other for years, and Julia finds it amusing how similar they look, so much so that she believes they could convincingly play siblings. On the other hand, she has a firm stance against filming nude scenes, saying, "Acting with clothes on is a performance. Acting without clothes is a documentary." Interestingly, Roberts has an exceptional memory and can recall nearly all the iconic lines from her movies, even decades later. She can even reenact entire dialogues with her co-stars and remember intricate details of key scenes. She also has a little-known trick. If, for some reason, she is unable to record her lines in post-production, actress Amy Landecker steps in for her, as their voices are remarkably similar. In her free time, Julia enjoys watching soccer and is an avid supporter of Manchester United. She has attended games at their home stadium and even visited the team during their 2017 preseason tour in the US. Roberts has a fear of heights and absolutely loves pranks. She eagerly participates in surprise setups for unsuspecting friends on various talk shows, delighting in their reactions. However, she once went too far. Julia decided to startle her eldest son by unexpectedly jumping out at him with a loud "Boo!" The boy was so frightened that Roberts realized she needed to be more careful when playing pranks on children. The Hollywood diva considers Indian actress Aishwarya Rai to be the epitome of female beauty, admiring her striking appearance. However, Julia herself is firmly against Botox. "I want my kids to know when I'm angry, when I'm happy, and when I'm confused," she explains. She takes good care of her skin, always using sunscreen, and stays fit with aerobics and running. However, she doesn't use deodorant, not even organic ones. In fact, Roberts prefers eco-friendly alternatives in all aspects of life and ensures that her children eat only organic food. The actress has a deep love for cooking and can handle almost any recipe. What brings her the most joy is seeing her family enjoy her homemade meals. Even the daily task of preparing 3 meals for her household, Roberts calls a luxurious privilege. Her kids have even suggested she open a restaurant, but she hasn't taken the plunge yet. Julia now regrets not having had the experience of college life. She says that in her youth, she never had a real chance to attend university. Her parents couldn't afford it, and she wasn't eligible for a scholarship. If she had gone to college, she would have studied anthropology, which is why she watched with longing as her children pursued their degrees. One of Roberts' most famous features is her radiant smile. At one point, she even insured it for $30 million. In 2004, archaeologists in Bulgaria discovered a 9,000-year-old female skeleton with a perfect set of teeth, which they nicknamed Julia Roberts. The actress is highly involved in philanthropy, working closely with UNICEF and advocating for environmental initiatives. Naturally, she couldn't stay silent about the war in Ukraine. On the first anniversary of Russia's invasion, Roberts appeared in a video alongside other celebrities, expressing her solidarity. "We are thinking of you, sending love, strength, and prayers. You are always in our hearts," she said, addressing the Ukrainian people. Julia Roberts' total net worth is estimated at $250 million, and her annual income can easily reach $20 to $40 million. She earns not only as an actress, but also as a producer, as she has been running the production company Red Om Films for many years. She came up with the name in honor of her husband. Red Om is motor, spelled backward. Julia is a prized catch for major brands. Companies are willing to pay her huge sums just to feature her in their advertisements. In 2006, she collaborated with designer Gianfranco Ferré for $5 million. And in 2010, the Italian coffee brand Lavazza paid her $1.2 million for a 45-second commercial. She agreed to work with Givenchy for just $1 million, while the French cosmetics company Lancôme had to shell out $10 million a year during their long-term partnership. Additionally, Roberts had contracts with the jewelry company Chopard and the hosiery brand Calzedonia. Julia's real estate portfolio is estimated to be worth around $25 million. She owns a home in Malibu, which she bought back in 2003 for either $6.4 million or $9.5 million. A few years later, she acquired another mansion directly across the street for $6.8 million. It offers a stunning ocean view, a skate park, a tennis court, and a large private yard. Julia and her husband owned several other properties in Malibu, one of which they rented out. In 2017, she purchased a small house with 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom for $3.9 million. It is believed to have been an investment property rather than a residence. In the 90s, Roberts bought a ranch in New Mexico, where she feels most at peace. Taking care of household chores helps her reset and find relief. In 2020, the couple expanded their real estate portfolio with a Victorian-style mansion in San Francisco for $8.3 million. The property included 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, and many cozy corners to escape the hustle and bustle. However, in 2023, Julia sold this home for $11.3 million. Roberts has also invested in several properties in Manhattan. It is known that she listed one of her apartments for sale in 2015 for $4.5 million. In 2011, the couple purchased a beachfront home in Hawaii for $13 million, but sold it 5 years later for $16.2 million, after significantly lowering their initial asking price. Julia Roberts' car collection is much more modest compared to her real estate holdings. As a family vehicle, she drives a Mercedes-Benz GL Class. She also owns a Mercedes-Benz GLS, a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, and a hybrid Toyota Prius. What Julia Roberts movie do you consider the best? Share your thoughts in the comments.
I'd love to stay and chat, but I still have my job.